Alright guys, we've got another trials video for you here today, but this time we are not focusing on cheaters. This isn't really a rant video or anything like that. I kind of just wanted to bring up one or two things about trials that I feel like haven't really been brought to light enough, I think. A lot of people have made, a lot of statements about cheating and about the loot, and those things are all true. Of course, cheating is a massive problem on PC, and DDoSing on console, huge issues. But for this video, we're going to put those issues to the side, and I wanted to talk about one thing in particular that I think if Bungie apply the change that I suggest, it will greatly enhance the experience for everybody. Now, before we get into exactly what that is, we've got a little sponsorship at the beginning of this video. So once you've got through that, we will get right into this big secret of mine. But first, a quick word from today's sponsors, Raid Shadow Legends. Do you guys want to be part of the largest community in mobile gaming? Then come check out Raid Shadow Legends. I've been playing Raid Shadow Legends now for almost 6 months, and what keeps me playing is their massive and active community. There are millions of players who play the game, and over 100,000 members on their Discord, thousands of videos every week, and almost 40,000 members on Reddit. It's one of the biggest and most helpful communities out there, and now is a really good time to get started. It's really easy to get started in Raid because there's obviously a very big player base, and of course there are so many resources online on Reddit, Discord, in the Raid Shadow Legends Discord, on the YouTube with so many different YouTubers making really helpful videos. There's plenty of ways to get connected and learn exactly what this game is all about. There are 25 million downloads and over 1 million players who log in every day. The community is hustling and bustling, and so many videos posted weekly on YouTube. You really have all the tools you need to succeed. And within the last couple of weeks, they've added a load of new updates. There's a lot to mention, so I'll just dive in. First, they've just added champion fragments, which essentially allow you to collect pieces of champions that you can use to summon specific champions, with special events running all the time. There's also a new bazaar where you can load up on high value items with the gold bars that you win in Tag Arena, and they just extended the daily login rewards up to 270 days, with a free champion available just for logging in. It's been a crazy month for updates, so there's never been a better time to start. You can find me in game under the name DFP Shake, and if you're quick enough you can even join my clan. So what are you waiting for? Go to the video description, click on the special links, and if you're a new player, you get 100,000 silver plus one free champion Acolyte. Very powerful champion who will help you through the early stages of the campaign. All of these treasures will be waiting for you here, so guys, don't miss out, and don't forget these rewards are only available for the next 30 days and for new players only. Don't miss out guys, Raid Shadow Legends. Okay, so to get straight into it, basically the number one thing I think Bungie should change in Trials of Osiris is the round length. That's right, the round length. It is too long. 2 minutes per round is way too long, and it causes too many issues in every single game that you end up playing. Now we can go over those issues real quick. Basically, the round length really empowers playing very slowly, and it has a kind of, a stacking effect on how slow a round may play out, and even it has an effect on how people set up their characters, what their stat distribution is and all of that. With 2 minute rounds, honestly guys, people talk about, oh, I have 100 mobility, I have 100 recovery, this, that, the other. I'll be completely honest with you guys. With 2 minute rounds, the only stat that you should have at 100 is intellect. And with the design of most maps, you aren't necessarily punished for not pushing. This is a great example, however. This map that we're playing on, Convergence, is a fantastic example of rewarding players for pushing. You can see right here, we're in the middle of the map by the cube, and that is where the capture point spawns, right? Capture point spawns in the middle, so if you decide to sit in the back and camp, sure, it's boring and it sucks. It really does suck. People don't push and they just stay in the back. But the team that did decide to push up has the advantage because they now have control of the capture zone and all of the angles around it. So a map like this is a great example of how to do it. Again, this is a Destiny 1 map. This is the second map to ever feature in Trials of Osiris, meaning it's very likely that part of the design of this map was based around Trials. You can't say that for any of the Destiny 2 maps, as Trials of Osiris wasn't a thing when they were being made, and elimination wasn't a game mode, so none of those factors came into it when looking at those maps. However, the vanilla D1 maps, Burnout's another great example, aka Burning Shrine, and this one, Pantheon, aka convergence. Clearly, the devs had elimination in mind when they designed the maps. You are rewarded for pushing up. But obviously, with round lengths being 2 minutes, there is still a great issue of people just camping. People might go to the waterfall, people might just sit in the back of their spawn, and they might just camp. Now, with the rounds being 2 minutes, you know, there's quite a big incentive to do that, especially if you can't really win the opening engagement in the middle of the map. Obviously, the most aggressive team, the most competent team, and the fastest team will usually win out this engagement right here at the beginning. Now, what I propose is that rounds should be 1 minute and 30 seconds. So basically, just shave off 30 seconds of that round length. Now, 30 seconds in your head, you might think that's not such a long time, but in the, you know, context of an elimination game, 30 seconds is a lifetime. And basically, the knock-on effect that this would have is, so when the round length is 2 minutes, right, and you're playing against a team that's camping, they might start to push up at around, you know, say 30 seconds to go, you know, maybe a minute to go, they might start pushing up. But usually it's around 30 seconds before the zone comes up that teams will start to push. So what does that mean? It means that you're waiting around for 1.5 minutes every round, right? However, if the round is 1.5 minutes total, that means after around a minute of camping, the enemy team will start to push up. And that 1 minute of waiting is way better than 1.5 minutes or sometimes even 2 minutes when teams wait the full round and they wait right to the last second to push out. It makes all the difference. That knock-on effect means that rounds will feel a lot quicker, and quick rounds are really where Trials shines, in my opinion. You want to have quick fights at the beginning of the game. Obviously, you can have a little feeling out period, say 30 seconds, where everyone's, you're getting your wits together, you're trying to figure out where everyone's located, and then you push up. So a little standoff at the beginning, that's totally fine. It's elimination. And obviously, when rounds become tense and it's like a 4-4, or you're down a few rounds and it's match point, and you decide to slow it down, that's fine, because there's only so much slowdown you can do. With the round length being 1.5 minutes, eventually you've got to push forward, and that will incentivize teams to push forward more often and realize that actually, if I don't push to the middle of the map and get map control, well, the other team's going to be there, they're going to be set up, and I don't have that much time to just sit there and charge my super with 100 intellect. So maybe I should focus more on, my gun skill, my gunplay, my positioning, trying to get kills, as opposed to just sitting in the back charging your super with 100 intellect, which is basically what a lot of teams like to do. I've lost more games than I can count purely to just supers at the end. And it's frustrating. You don't want the game to just be sitting in the back with supers. I think the spectacle, which is one of the biggest things about Trials of Osiris, the spectacle for the guys who are dead and died at the beginning of the round and then they get rezzed, for the people who are watching on Twitch and YouTube, the spectacle around Trials of Osiris is important. If people associate fun and entertainment with what happens in Trials, then the game mode will do better and everyone involved in Trials will have more fun. A great example of this, and we're going to kind of diverge into the other issue, the other biggest issue, which is for sure loot, the loot investment in the game. Basically, with Bannerfall being the Trials map last week and the Solstice event happening at the same time, we had the biggest player base since week 2 that Trials of Osiris launched. What does this show? That if players are given a reasonable incentive to play the mode, i.e. decent loot, some kind of desirable item that's not necessarily incredibly difficult to acquire because all you needed was 7 wins, you didn't need to go 7 in a row, people will play. And when people play, and there's those people in the playlist, it's generally more enjoyable for everyone. Good players, bad players, average players, quote-unquote casual players. If there's lots of good loot and lots of reason to play, everyone gets involved. And if everyone gets involved, more people have a chance of getting further into a card or maybe even going flawless, which is what it's all about. The final thing I wanted to touch on, and I see it mentioned a hell of a lot by my fellow content creators and just players in general, that complain about sword peeking and third-person peeking. Basically, when Bannerfall was the map, and there was 100,000 people playing over the weekend on Steam, do you know how many sword peekers I matched? Not that many. Because the kind of players that sword peek are very, very sweaty, very try-hard players who will do anything to get any kind of small advantage. When the playlist is thriving and there are lots of people playing the game mode, you're not going to run into Sword Peak Steven every single game or every second game, and it would be far less of an aggravating issue for you if the loot was good. So yeah, my opinion, round length should be knocked down by 30 seconds, and we need to push this idea more to Bungie. I mean, it should be incredibly obvious. If you guys didn't know, Destiny 1 round timer was 1 minute 30. I don't know if it was longer at the beginning and they brought it down, but I do know for sure by the end the round length was 1 minute 30. And as I've already explained, has a knock-on effect, and it just generally makes the game mode so much more fun. So you can see here there'll be less rounds where we're waiting on the zone because the other team won't push. And yeah, I got destroyed by a Hammer Titan. Hey, listen, sometimes it happens, man, you know what I'm saying? Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. And I will see you in the next video. Peace.